Morning everybody, it's the 29th of June and it's the second round of the Topkit or 3 metre league, Sedges ran 3 metre league, and instead of being on Tile Lake they've had a few oxygen problems, which I'm sure a few places have, to be honest. It's been so hot, hasn't it? So they've put it over on Brick Lake. Now, I've never fished the Topkit League on Brick Lake before. I know many years ago when it first started they used to use brick, so it really should be quite an eye-opener really as to what we're going to catch. I really don't know how the day's going to unfold. We had a little bit of a format, didn't we, on tile? Will that work on brick? I don't know. I might start it a little bit more positive, like with sort of 8mm meat and just 8mm meat, and see if we can catch carp really throughout the day, because we're not going to be quite so clued up. But it could well be a day where we're catching skimmers. It could be a little bit slower, which wouldn't surprise me, because a lot of skimmers in Tile Lake. So yeah, it's going to be quite interesting. So we'll get on down there now anyway. We'll have some breakfast, and fingers crossed, hope we're bungo. See you down there. So as you've seen, we already made the change to 6mm meat from that 8mm meat, because it just sat there looking back at me, the float really wasn't doing nothing. So I think we've had one carp, a few small skimmers, slightly better one now, but certainly not the stamp we normally catch on tile, is it? We're feeding 6mm meat and nothing else at the moment, because I really, in a corner as well, I fancy it for a few carp, to be honest.
but it's very flat and very still, that's the only thing, and very bright of course. So switching to 6mm meat, it's all about that slow build again, isn't it? I think if we had like a good blow coming into the corner, so that would be sat here on 8mm meat all day and just do nothing else, you know, pick off nice quality carp, but I'm not sure that's going to be the case today. Still really enjoyable though. Always enjoy these matches, love it. You don't need an expensive pole, though I do have one anyway, but for anybody else, you know, you don't need one. 3 meters, simple bait tray, fishing straight in front of you, and down the edges and such. I love it. Just think it's an awesome league. I've got 2 of these leagues on the go at the moment. So we got the usual Sedges 3 meter league, which we're on now today. This is the second round. I think we came 4th in the first round, so reasonable points. And that's the thing really, is you've got to get reasonable points so as you can get in the final. So we caught nothing for 15 minutes, so we go on the long line past the feed. It's a little silver bream, little pommy. So as we were saying, yeah, we've got 2 of these leagues. So that's the first one, the one we're on today. And then the other one is Emma's League, which is the same principle again, but we're on several venues. And not just venues, but lakes as well. So we're down at Sedges here, and we do Tile Lake and Brick Lake. So the lake we're on today. So it's a bit of a sort of sneaky practice for that as well, isn't it? So no complaints as to being on here today, and it's a nice change rather than being on tile. I don't think anybody really knows how it's going to fish, so genuinely is an interesting match today. So sadly this fish isn't in the mouth. It wasn't like he was a mile off the bottom though, you know, he was certainly hovering over that feed, which could be a good sign. We hope so. We're over halfway in the match now just, and it's been quite slow. It's been okay. We've sort of trickled along with a few of those little skimmers and that, as you've seen. You know, we've had our sort of slow little lulls, then you catch sort of 2 or 3 on the trot, and then they sort of back away again, which is expected really. It's bright, it's flat, the water isn't as coloured as it looks either, so I do like the idea of throwing meeting, because I do think they really can see it. Already across from me on the far bank I've seen quite a number of carp being caught by at least 2 people. Have had like 8 to 10 carp each, so we are way off the pace for that. I don't think, even at this sort of stage in the match, I'm not sure that anybody's going to frame in the main sort of, you know, the high weight frame as it were on this side of the lake. So we decided to just try past our feed again, just see if 1 or 2 better fish are hanging off, and it just gives on top of the feed a little rest, doesn't it? But no bigger. Weight building little fish though, got no issue with that. Every little fish counts really, as I say, because you want to try and get in the top 10 every round, so as you end up in the top 10 on your group, so as you can get into that final. So I start a new line now, an 8mm meat positive line in 3.5 foot of water, sort of off to my left there at 45 degrees, but I must admit I don't really fancy the slope on it. It's not very nice at all, but I thought I'd start it, just trickle a little bit of meat in there, because it's going to be a long time before they come into that edge where I got about 2 foot of water. I cleared it all out down there, but I think that could be really late, that edge, and I don't want to, and I got 6.5 foot in front of me, so I don't want to be foul hooking carp because we're fishing too deep and wait until they come to 2 foot. So I wanted to try and find a sort of depth in between, if you like. So I'm still ticking along with those skimmers. We tick along with those. As soon as they slow right up, I have a little look somewhere else. So as I was saying, the depth in front is 6.5 foot. I'm only using a 4x14 rube because there's no wind or tow. There's no need for anything else. It's wire stemmed, 0.2 main line, 0.16 hook length, 6 inches of, with a B911 size 16. Our standard sort of meat fare, if you like, isn't it? Yeah, so it's really sort of heads down. And my little format now is I'm sort of just trying to catch a few skimmers in front, 3, 4. Then we go off the back, we sort of nab one, then that tends to slow right up as well. And then I sort of go down that edge where I'm at 45 degree angle, sort of 8 mil meat line halfway down the shelf. We don't catch anything on those lines, but we get to rest that in front of us, you know. But I'm hoping by giving it those 5-10 minutes on those more positive lines that we will eventually catch a carp or two on that in between, like, you know. And we've hooked another one now. And you can see the elastic under the water a little bit there now. If yeah, you can see it, so you can tell just how clear it is. Sat up where I am with the angle I got on the water, it really is a lot clearer than I expected. It may be because the fishery owners have topped it up, which they may well have had to do due to all the sort of hot weather we've had. You can't blame them for that. Very lush down here though at the sedges. I love it. It's not quite got the reeds each side of your peg that tile has, but it's still beautiful. You can see a few more people on this lake because you're not sort of not got those islands to see past either. Brick Lake has no islands in it, so I can see all the opposite bank, but I can only see Pool on me right on my bank. But the grapevine tells me my bank is fishing quite hard. So we just keep a little bit of 8 mil meat trickling in on that 45 degree angle line. We take our time with this carp, only our third one. All these little skimmers are all mounting up, aren't they? I've got no idea what's going to win the silvers on here. I mean, you get 3 main frame places, but then you get 2 frame places for the silvers and 2 sections. The sections are split obviously with what bank you're on. 10 people on this bank, pegs 1 to 10, and a section of 10 people the other side, pegs 11 to 20 obviously. Really, we're just after the points. I'm just trying to catch the best way I can in the peg. Now I could feed really heavy in front of me, sort of feed off those skimmers and go, you know, death or glory for those carp, but I'm just not getting those sort of signs from them to think it's worth it. So not long of the match left now, and it's become blatantly obvious that all the mainframe money is definitely going to go on that far bank, as we mentioned earlier. So it's a few fish in front, and then as you can see down that edge, trying to find like a carp and giving that in front a little rest for 10 minutes. And when it fishes hard, sometimes you're better off doing that, just thinking, right, I've scrapped that 45 degree angle line now, because I'm just thinking when it's fishing this hard, sometimes you're better off fishing a simpler match and just being a little bit more patient. You know, use your patient game. and with 10 minutes to go of the match now, we actually seen a tail pattern down the edge, and we've gone in there and we've hooked one. And down the edge we got a Malman Elco 0.4 float. That gives you 5 number 8s right above a 4-inch hook length. Hook length is 0.18. The rig line's 0.22. Not messing about so much on this rig. It's not absolute riot kit, but I'm not looking to catch £300. So about 5 minutes to go, and why we hook another one. What a difference those two fish in the last 10 minutes are going to make. If we can land this one, it's going to make quite a difference, that I think. And this feels that little bit heavier as well, a bit ploddy. Yeah, he's making a nice tail pattern, isn't he? It's got a little bit of weight to him, this one, I think. Doesn't look particularly long, but he's deep. It's at this stage with sort of 4.5 minutes to go. I'm thinking that, you know, you really want to pull on him hard and net him, and then get down the edge and have the chance of catching even the third one in that last 10 minutes. But I don't want to risk. I'm checking the time now, look, and I really don't want to risk pulling out of this one. It's the best fish we've had all day, and he's low double. I'd say 11-12 pound, and that's a massive difference to me weight. That'll be several points. I imagine I'll jump several points with that. So trying to keep my eye on the end game, if you like, which is qualification. We're not going to get in the main frame, but we'll see where we end up. It's been a lovely day's fishing nonetheless, though, it really has. I've enjoyed it. Been quite lucky as well. We've had a little bit of cloud cover, so it hasn't been quite as intense with that sun either. I'm sure you've all experienced it lately. It's been terrific weather, hasn't it? But sitting in it for 6 hours is difficult. Just don't want to give up at all, does he? I'm giving him a fair old bit of stick. Yeah, good look at him then. Definitely 11-12 pound. Really deep fish. Nice fatty. Still checking that time. Greedy, innit? There he is.
the last 10 minutes, Jim. I've never played the last one so fast. I got in there with 30 seconds to go and the whistle went. I didn't get on my phone. Hopefully it's fine. Then it ends up later.
One.
What did Neil have? Neil? Yeah. That's in. Thank you. I'll have the milk shop.